helping you to weather good and bad economies without putting retirement on hold. This is the Tumolo Financial Podcast with Ken and Nick Tumolo. Ken and his son Nick know that creating a comprehensive financial plan can align your hard-earned life savings with your retirement goals. Consider them your retirement architects. Now, the Tumolo Financial Podcast with Ken and Nick Tumolo.
All right, guys, another subject we have addressed here on the radio because it's such a huge, it's almost kind of like a quiet storm, the wealth transition that's happening right now. It's because also, you think about the boomers, they hold their cards close to the vest. It's a generation of we don't talk about money. But it's happening, the great wealth transfer. And by the year 2045, boomer parents are expected to hand down 53 trillion with a T in assets to millennials and Gen Zers. But a recent study is raising questions over whether these next generations are ready for inheriting this money. More than half said they don't feel confidently prepared for the windfall. So how do you help families, not just of your clients, but maybe of the next generation? What are these conversations that you're having with folks in an effort to have them better prepared?
Yeah, and there's a few different things. And if they don't do it, the government might be very happy about it.
Right.
And why I'll say that too is majority of people that come in, the everyday person that has $250,000 to $2+ million, majority of their money is in 401ks, IRAs, so those tax deferred accounts.
Right.
And the government did a phenomenal job for themselves a few years back, where they changed the rules on inheriting money from those 401ks, IRAs.
Yep.
And they have to pull that money out within a 10-year period now instead of over their lifetime.
Yep.
So now if someone has $1 million account, and let's say they have one child for this example, that child has to pull $100,000 each year to empty it out. And that's not even putting on returns and stuff like that.
Yep.
And usually what happens is when parents pass away, kids are in their 50s, early 60s, making the most money at the time. So who's getting the bigger tax bill now? Uncle Sam and the government's making out on that money. That $53 trillion is not a full $53 trillion going to just the kids.
Right.
A good chunk of it's going to taxes.
Yep.
So that's the one thing that a lot of people come in to talk to me about, or us, I should say, is talking about, okay, how do we structure our taxes so that we can help ourselves out and our kids or even grandkids down the road? So the big thing I like to do with that is basically the Roth conversions, looking to see if it makes sense in that situation for them to see, okay, because you got to be careful with Roth conversions. You got to look at the state tax code, the federal tax code, and you got to look at Medicare brackets too, because Medicare is based off of income too. So you're looking at a few different factors when you're doing these Roth conversions, and then you're kind of running those sort of scenarios, looking long-term to see if it helps lower your taxes and helps the kids out down the road. Mm-hmm. That's where I really start looking and honing in on those type of things to make sure that, okay, we're giving them the best advantage so that the kids are paying less in taxes and Uncle Sam's not getting as much.
Right.
Because I know I always bring up the example, but you might not see those extra zeros like Bezos and Zuckerberg, but you see slowly over time, tax planning happens year over year. You start doing these things. You can help save yourself a few $1,000, $10,000. I've seen plans a few plans, and you can even ask my dad too, over $100,000 of savings because you're doing these Roth conversions so that you're making sure that net worth fully goes to the kids or majority goes to the kids.
But it is a long game. That's what we're talking about. You got to be careful. You got to be strategic. You got to have a plan. Yeah.
Yeah, because you're not going to move $1 million in 1 year. You move $1 million in 1 year to a Roth conversion.
Talk about things
high tax bracket.
Talk about things Uncle Sam would love you to do.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
And I've had some people do it by themselves and do these massive Roth conversions without knowing the repercussions. Yep. And you can't go back on it nowadays.
Yep.
So yeah, you
gotta
really talk to a tax professional before you do these things, making sure that you're not hitting those horrible jumps and making sure that that advantage goes to you. So yeah, you're not going to move over $1 million because you're going to slam yourself in both federal, state, and Medicare costs. So you really want to hone in, look at these things when you're doing them. The other thing I will point out too down the road, because I've been seeing this big change with the baby boomers, is basically the big thing was, oh yeah, let's help out the kids now. let's help out the grandkids now. And that's a good thing. Instead of passing on the money from the grave and watching them from whatever you believe in, you just want to make sure you get to see them do those things. Help them out right now. That's the harder times anyway. And I'm not saying do what's best for you, of course. But if you have the choice and you could do these things, it might make sense. Help them with the house. Help them with paying for diapers. Not saying it because I'm having a kid soon.
FYI, Ken, pick up the hint, Dad and Grandpa.
I have your headphones in.
Yeah, I think he muted his headphones right now. But those are the tougher times. So you help them out now.
Yeah.
If you can, it's really going to help the plan out because you're trying to, like you said, the long game, the tax planning. It's a year-over-year issue. The one thing I will say, if your grandkids are under 18 years old, it usually does not make sense to hand them off money. Well, one, because they'll probably spend it in one purchase. And then two, FAFSA looks at that money. So if their bank account says they have $250,000 per se, because they got gifting from the grandparents and they go to college is going to say, congratulations, you get to pay full price for college
because they don't qualify for student loans, or
they don't qualify for the grants, the student loan. Yeah, you want to make sure that we're trying to protect some of the money for them.
Yeah.
Yep. So you start looking a little bit more, and this is where I'm not a lawyer, but you start building out trust, because trust, you can say, okay, I want the grandkids to get money at 22, 26 years old. So they're out of college, and then they can make the decision to pay off student loans or go buy a Lamborghini.
Yeah.
And they might have a little bit more sense at that time too.
Hopefully.
So a couple different examples on that, the great wealth transfer. But if you want to talk to us so that we make sure to do the best thing for you, that's where we build out that Tumolo retirement checkup for all of our qualified listeners. Our phone number is 860-854-3434, or you go to our website at tfcheckup.com.
Yeah, and listening to you, Nick, one of the things, making the IRS your friend, meaning you're paying too much in taxes, or the flip side of it, making a big tax mistake and then you owe a whole bunch of money. So you don't want that either. So it's kind of the in-between that you have to toe. Right. Years back, we had, unfortunately, they passed away, a client, and they had a pretty good chunk saved up. And that chunk went to the kids. So, and one daughter, one son, and the son ended up coming in, and we talked to him about financial planning a little bit. And basically, he didn't listen to us. And instead, what he did, and this was back a bit where, back a few years back, you weren't required to withhold federal tax taking money out of your IRA. So he inherited these retirement accounts. And so what he did was he took all of the money out of the accounts, paid no taxes, bought a house, bought a boat, which turned into a disaster because when he called me up, it's like he was telling me I can't even park the boat, so I just leave it in the slip. And so he wasn't even using it.
Oh, geez.
And but basically went through all of the money within a year.
Oh, wow.
Didn't use us other than he called me for a few questions, and I kept warning him, hey, you got to withhold taxes. You got to do this. We weren't in charge of the account.
Yeah.
We weren't managing it. We were managing the parents' money.
Yeah.
And when he inherited it, he took it over himself because, he was going to manage it himself.
Yeah.
So called us the year after.
Yeah.
He spent all the money, and he had gone to an accountant, and basically his figure was he owed about $80,000 in taxes. Okay. Here's the problem. He didn't have any money to pay.
He spent it all.
Yes.
Wow.
So the reason why I get to that, and on top of it, it put him in a higher tax bracket. So even more went to the IRS and the state, just the higher brackets. And so we always want to start the planning, yes, with parents. But the thing is we always offer our clients at some point, have your kids come in.
Yeah.
Because they're going to need some coaching. And we see some of the cases where someone has $1 million, $2 million, $3 million left over at 90. We know that's going to pass on. Even if they have 300,000, it's going to pass on. Sometimes some kids are really good where they understand saving, investing, and manage money very well, and others don't.
Right.
And so another advisor said this to me years ago. And he goes, I just tell my clients that if they don't spend the money, their kids are going to spend it.
That's right.
So,
I mean, yes, that's very true.
Yeah. And in this case, that's what happened. It just was really what, it's not only, coach the client with the taxes, help them with the taxes, make things move along efficiently to loved ones, right? Mm-hmm. But then on top of it, what you're trying to do is help out the next generation or the generation after that so that they properly handle things.
Yeah.
Because the thing is the parents worked really hard for the money.
Right.
And
I mean, I think about that guy's parents. They are rolling over in their graves just out of just rage from the other side. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So they worked all those years. And on top of it, they weren't spending much of it. They were kind of that generation where I'm going to save, and give it to my kids when we pass away so that they're okay.
Yeah.
Well, went through it in a year. So obviously it's not going to, it could help him if he sells the house, but it put him into a financial predicament.
If you're going to leave money, I think that the big lesson that I'm hearing is if you do plan to leave money to your kids and grandkids, make sure that you also empower them with education, with information about how to do well by themselves with that money.
Yeah, and if you figure out that your son, your daughter isn't going to be able to manage it, then like Nick said, seek out an estate planning attorney. We've got a couple that we refer to.
I was going to say you can help connect people in that space, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because then they could spread the money out and help try to
there are ways of what they say manage. Control from the grave. There's ways to make it so they only receive a little bit at a time. There are different things you can implement. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just things to consider.
Yeah.
And you think retirement's easy, and then you got to think about that too. But but like I said, it all starts with the retirement checkup. We need to know the numbers.
Yep.
It gives us a good idea of what's left over later. Any things that are going on now or potentially down the road that we should try to improve. Mm-hmm. We do it complimentary for listeners. Our number, 860-854-3434. The other way to get a hold of us, you go right to our website, tfcheckup.com. And our website, you can book an appointment to talk to us. From there, we just gather some information and we try to help.
Investment advice offered through Tumolo Wealth Management, an SEC-registered investment advisor. Content contained herein should not be construed as an offer or solicitation for investment advice or for the purchase or sale of any security, insurance, or other investment product. Please consult with a qualified financial, tax, accounting, or legal professional before implementing any ideas or strategies discussed here.